Hi, my name is Jim Hansel, and today I'm going to teach you how to plant a rare and unusual shrub. The plant that we're working with today is a type of Mahonia or great holly. This is one called Beijing Beauty. This genus is an Asian genus, and the plant that we're planting today was just recently delivered. This is a new and rare plant to the industry, so I'm going to pull this out of the pot here and show you what we're dealing with. You can see that the root system of this plant is very dense, so prior to planting I'm going to take a soil knife and I'm going to actually go in and cut the roots up a little bit. If you don't cut the roots up, they will grow in a spiral or a circle and the plant will become pot bound even though it's in the ground. So I'm going to kind of go through here and take and separate these roots a bit so that they will root into the native or indigenous soils. Okay. So as you can see, these roots have really, in the pot that this plant came from, the roots began to circle around the pot, and that will lead to girdling roots, which what happens is the larger roots will begin to grow around other larger roots, and it will actually cut off the flow of water and nutrients through the xylem and phloem. So it looks like I'm hurting this plant, but I'm not. I'm just preparing it to get in contact with the native soil here in the garden. The other thing that I want to mention when you are planting plants like this, we're in the shade right now. The plant was well watered before we started doing this. So if you suspect that your plant is going to need the root system fluffed and kind of torn apart this much, it's always a good idea to water the plant the day before so that the leaves and the cells are turgid with water or full of water. So this is where this plant's going to go. So I'm going to keep all this material here. This is actually very good material to mix with the native soil. The next step we're going to do is we're going to come in and we're going to dig a planting hole for this plant. So we're going to use two products today. We're going to use some composted manure, cow manure. And the reason that we're going to use this product, number one, it's got very slow release, low analysis of fertilizer. But the biggest reason that I like to use this product is because it helps to retain moisture. As the season moves on and we get towards summer, the soils are going to begin to dry down. Organic matter, like composted cow manure, help to retain moisture in the soil over time. So I'm going to put a few handfuls of that. The second thing that I'm going to use is a product called Hollytone. I like Hollytone. It's an organic fertilizer, but this fertilizer specifically is for plants that prefer acidic soils. So when I dug this hole, I made the hole wider than the plant. And the reason that we do that, when we dig a hole to plant a shrub or a tree, we want to create more like a crater. So it's a lot wider than what it needs to be because we want these roots to connect with the native soil as quickly as possible. So you can see how fine and hairy these root systems are. And we've just about taken all the organic matter, all the soilless media off. And now I'm going to make sure that when I put this in the ground, I'm going to space these roots out so that they don't grow around in a circle and girdle themselves. We want to be very careful. There's a part on woody plants called the root flare, and that's the space where the stem comes down and it sort of flares out a little bit at the bottom. If you cover the root hair, you're changing the depth at which the plant is growing, and that reduces the amount of oxygen in the root zone. Many people don't realize that soil, good garden soil, is about 50% the pore space is about 50% oxygen. So we don't want to compact the soil around this plant, and we also don't want to change the root's ability to take up some more oxygen. I think you should take your time and make sure that you get that water right near the root system. So for a plant that's maybe 3 or 5 gallon, from a 3 or 5 gallon container, I would use about a gallon of water on that plant.